Good morning, everyone. Myself, Vinuta, working as lecturer in Government Polytechnic Mirle. I like to welcome you all for the session 4 on the formation of steam. In today's session, I'm going to explain the numerical examples on specific volume and how to find out the condition of steam. And secondly, let us try to understand the external work done during evaporation process and the new mathematical expression for it and numerical examples involved in it. And thirdly, I like to explain the internal energy, the definition of internal energy, and if time permits, let us solve problem on it. So the topics covered in the session 3 was, if you recall the session 3 contents, we solved two numerical examples to find out the enthalpy. One was to find out the drop in enthalpy, and the second one was to find out the conditions, the various conditions. So when they are given the various condition, that is when the condition is wet, dry or superheated condition, during that conditions, what is the amount of heat required? That was the question what they have asked. We successfully solved that particular problems and we got the correct answers. And along with that, we studied the other properties of steam like specific volume of steam, the definition of specific volume of steam, and various specific volume of steam that we come across, that is VF, specific volume of wet steam, specific volume of dry steam, and specific volume of superheated steam. So, and even we learned that the specific volume of superheated steam, it obeys the Charles law. By using Charles law, we had to obtain the formula. So the remaining, the Vg will be directly obtained from the steam table, and the value of Vf, that is the specific volume of wet steam, will be very small, and hence it will be neglected in the problems. So we'll be considering only the Vg. So for the wet steam, it is x into Vg. Got it? So in today's session, we have learned the definition in the previous session. So in today's session, we're going to solve the problem on that particular definitions. So in this particular example, let us read the question once thoroughly so that we can understand the question properly. So if we once understand the question, so it will be easy for us to tabulate the given data. So what they have given? So determine the condition of steam in the following cases. So what they have asked? They have asked us to find out the condition of steam. What do you mean by that? So if you recall the problem in the previous session, that is in session 3, they had asked us to find out the quantity of heat. So the quantity of heat was referred as enthalpy. Okay, so but the condition of steam refers to whether steam is wet, dry or saturated. That is a condition of steam. That is the meaning of condition of steam. Okay, so they have asked us to find out the condition of steam in two cases. Which is the first case? What they have given? At a pressure of 10 bar and temperature 200 degrees Celsius. So what they are asking, when the pressure is 10 bar and when the temperature is 200 degrees Celsius, tell me whether the steam will be wet, dry or superheated. That is what they have asked. So you have to find out what is the condition of the steam. Whether the steam is wet, dry or superheated. By solving the problem, we can conclude it. Okay. So the second thing what they have asked, at a pressure of 10 bar and volume 0.15 meter cube per kg. So when pressure is 10 bar, volume is 0.175 meter cube per kg. In this condition, in this particular volume and pressure, what will be the condition of steam? The same thing, whether will it be a wet steam or a dry or a superheated steam, you have to find out in this particular problem. So for that, so in the both the condition, the pressure has remained same. So the pressure is same 10 bar. There is a variation in the temperature and the volume. So in one condition they have given the temperature. So in the second condition they have mentioned the specific volume. So for this two condition, let us find out whether the steam is wet, dry or superheated. So for 10 bar, so dear students, so in the previous session also I have told you to bring a steam table or to take the printout of the steam table. So the steam table is very essential for this particular unit 1. So along with that, I hope you people have brought notes, calculator and pen is there with you people, right? So hoping that you have all brought the book, notes, steam table, pen and a calculator is there with you people. Hoping that I'll continue this session. Okay. So what they have given? They have given a 10 bar. For 10 bar pressure, you note down the saturation temperature. Saturation temperature is how much? 179.9 degrees Celsius. Let us make a note of the specific enthalpy. How will you write? So first you need to write the given data. What they have given? They have given pressure as 10 bar, temperature as 200 degrees Celsius and V volume as specific volume as 0.175. So this was the condition what they have given. The initial, you have to write the initial condition. Then you have to open the steam table book. From the steam table, you have to look for the table where the pressure is 10 bar. Okay, so take down the steam table book, open your steam table book and turn the page where you have the pressure as 10 bar. For 10 bar pressure, so we'll write like this. For pressure from steam table, for pressure 10 bar, T saturation equals 179.9 degrees Celsius, specific and HF equals 762.6, HFG equals 2013.6 and HG equals 2776.2. So this is sufficient for us. Okay. So we'll make a note of these values by using the steam table. So that is what we have taken the values for steam table. Along with that, let us take the specific volume of dry steam. It's 0.194. Okay. So this is what we have taken from the steam table. So now I need to find out the condition of the steam. So I need to conclude the condition of the steam, that is whether the steam is wet, dry or superheated steam. I need to conclude that. So how can I conclude that? So let us compare the saturation temperature with a given temperature. So 200 degrees Celsius is the given temperature of the steam, and for this particular condition, that is for 10 bar pressure, the saturation temperature is 179.9 degrees Celsius. So just by seeing this, you can say that what the 200 is greater than 179. Am I right? Okay. So simply if I write TH diagram, this condition will indicate what? T saturation. Okay, this is what they have given. This is what they have given it as 179.9. But what is the value of temperature? What they have mentioned in the problem? It is 200 degrees Celsius. So it's obvious that 200 will come somewhere in this particular region. Will you agree? Right. Then tell me, what is the condition of steam? What is the condition of steam? It is superheated steam because the given temperature is greater than the saturation temperature. Why? The given temperature in the problem is greater than the saturation temperature for 10 bar pressure. So it's obvious that the given temperature is a superheated temperature. Therefore, the condition of the steam is what? It is the superheated steam. The steam. So how can I conclude it? The given, since the saturation temperature or the given temperature of the steam is higher than the saturation temperature, the given steam is superheated. So once again, I'll draw the temperature enthalpy diagram. This was the T saturation line and this is the T superheated line. Okay, this is how much what they have given. This is 200 what they have given. This is 200. T superheated is 200 and T saturation is 179.9. So how can I conclude it? So how much, what is the raise in temperature, that I can conclude in this problem. So for that particular reason, I'll find out the degree of superheat. So degree of superheat is the one thing which tells the difference between the superheated temperature and the saturation temperature. For that particular thing, I'm going to find out the difference between the superheated temperature and the saturation temperature. So if I subtract 200 by 179.9, the answer will get it as 21.9 degrees Celsius. That means 20.1 degrees Celsius of heat has been superheated. So above saturation temperature, we have heated the steam for 20 degrees Celsius. That is the meaning of this particular thing. So how can I conclude it? So how much superheat or extra heat that we have supplied to convert the steam to superheated temperature. So how much we have supplied? We have supplied 20.1 degrees Celsius of extra heat to convert the dry saturated steam into a superheated steam. That we can conclude. How can we conclude? We have added extra 20.1 degrees Celsius of heat to the dry saturated steam to obtain a superheated steam. Okay, so the condition of the steam is superheated. So in the second condition, so in the problem they have asked us to find out for the two condition. One was when the temperature, when they have given the temperature. Therefore, for that, when the temperature was given, we have concluded that the given condition of steam is superheated and we have heated 20.1 degree of heat. We have supplied 20.1 degree of more heat to convert dry steam into a superheated steam. So in the second condition, they are given the same pressure, but they have mentioned the volume. How much they have given mentioned the volume? It's 0.175 meter cube per kg. So again, if we look at the steam table for Vg, I'll show you the steam table. So what is the value of Vg? That is the specific volume of dry steam they are given 0.194. How much it is? 0.194. So please make a note of it. So from steam table for dry saturated steam, that is the value of Vg, what they have given is, it is 0.194. That's meter cube. It's small meter. It's meter cube per kg. So now it's in the previous condition, in first part of the problem, since they had given the temperature, we compared saturation temperature with the superheated temperature, then we concluded the condition of the steam, right? So similarly, in this particular part of the problem, they have given the volume. So I will compare with the volume of dry steam and the given volume. So this is the given volume of the steam and this is the volume of the dry steam. Will you tell me which is greater now? Which is greater? 0.194 is greater. Right. So Vg is greater than the, I'll say this is the given volume. So the specific volume of the dry steam is greater than the specific volume of the given steam. Okay. So by seeing the TH diagram, the specific volume for the dry steam will be somewhere come here. Okay. Since the specific volume of the given steam is less than this, the condition of the steam will be a wet steam. Remember that what they have given, the condition of the steam is wet. Why? Because the specific volume of dry steam is greater than the given condition, or in other words, what I can say, since the volume of given steam, that is 0.175, is less than the specific volume of dry saturated steam, we conclude that the given steam is a wet steam. So the given steam is wet steam. So for that particular, now I came to know that steam is wet. But then what is the next question that arises? How much dry it is? That is the thing that we need to find out. Okay, so that means we need to find out the dryness fraction. Whether the steam is completely wet, whether it is 1% dry, 2% or 0.2 dry, like that. So for that particular thing, so the dryness fraction can be found out by using the formula Vg by Vw. How are we going to find out? It's Vg by Vw. What does Vg indicates? Vg indicates Vg indicates volume of the dry steam. Vw indicates the volume of the total wet steam. Will you agree with me? So, but if you know that the formula for wet dryness fraction was mg by m. Okay, since mass is directly proportional to the volume, I'll write instead of mg, I'll write as Vg, and instead of m, I'll write as Vw. Remember that. Okay. So I can calculate the dryness fraction of steam X equals Vg by Vw. I'll substitute the values in this and I'll get the answer as 0.902. So the given condition of the steam, it is 0.9. It is somewhere here at the end of the latent heat of evaporization region. So how much dry it is? That is 90% it is dry. Only the 10% the steam is wet. This is the condition of the steam. So in this particular problem, they had given us to solve the problem in two conditions. That is when the pressure is 10 bar and the temperature was 200 degrees Celsius. So for that particular condition, they wanted us to find out what will be the state of steam, whether it would be a dry, wet or superheated. By comparing the T saturation temperature with the T superheated temperature, we concluded that the condition of the steam was a superheated condition. In the next point, we concluded that 20.1 degree of extra heat was added to the saturation temperature to convert the dry steam into a superheated steam. So that we find out by using the formula for the degree of superheat. So in the second condition, they had asked us to find out the condition of, again the condition of the steam when pressure was given and the volume was given. So for that particular thing, since they had given the volume, I'm going to find out the value of dry saturated steam by using the steam table. From steam table, for dry saturation steam, the Vg was 0.194. So then when I compare these two values, 0.194 is greater than 0.175. Okay. Therefore, since the value of Vg is higher than the given specific volume of the steam, we can conclude that the given steam is a wet steam. Or in other words, since the volume of given steam is less than the specific volume of dry saturated steam, the given condition of the steam is wet. Therefore, the next question that arises is what? The percentage of wetness or the percentage of dryness. How much it is wet or how much it is dry. That we need to calculate. That will be expressed by using the dryness fraction. Since volume is directly proportional to mass, in place of mass, we'll write it as V. We're going to write the expression as Vg by Vw, where Vg indicates the specific volume of dry saturated steam and Vw indicates specific volume of steam, wet steam. By expressing this and substituting the value of Vg and Vw in the formula, we'll get the answer as 0.902. So the value of x is how much? 0.9. So 0.90% of the steam has been converted into a dry steam. That is the meaning of this in this problem. Let us move on to the next properties of the steam, that is external work done during evaporization. So what is the work done during the evaporation process? So if you recall your basic thermodynamics, the work done will be expressed in pressure into change in volume for the constant pressure process. For the constant pressure process, it was P into change in the volume. Right? So that was the equation what we had in the basic thermodynamics. Same thing we're going to continue. We're going to use the same formula for this particular work done also. So what we know that it's P into change in the volume, change in volume. I'll write it as dV or change in volume. So since the change in volume for the sensible heat and the superheated steam, that is very small, we going to neglect the Vf portion. Understood? So how can I express the external work done during evaporization means, see what they have given. So as we know that as the temperature increases, there will be an increase in the volume. So this increase in the volume makes some useful work done. So there will be some work done in the system. So how can we conclude it? So when the steam is starting evaporated, so there will be an increase in the volume along with but the temperature remains constant. But there will be a constant temperature, but there will be a change of volume. There will be an increase in the volume. So thus what we say is some external work is done by the system. The system will do some external work. So how? By increasing the volume. So this increase in volume will shows that there was some external work was done by the system. So how can we identify? So how can we identify this? That is, there is absorption of latent heat, right? So then what that will happen in that particular process? So if I draw the temperature enthalpy diagram, this is the latent heat of evaporization region. So in this, even though if we supply the heat, we can't recognize that heat. So that heat will be absorbed by the system to do some external work. That is the meaning of this. So the absorbed energy is utilized to do some external work. This is what the definition of the work done. So the energy for doing the work is obtained how? It is obtained during the absorption of latent heat, and this work is called as the external work of evaporization. So from the basic thermodynamic itself, for the constant pressure process, I told you it's pressure into change in the volume. What is the change in the volume? It is from the volume is changing from Vf to Vg. So Vg is higher than the Vf. So I'll write as P into Vg minus Vf. Since Vf, the volume of the sensible heat, it's very small, we're going to neglect this specific volume. We're going to consider only the specific volume of the dry steam. So how can I express it? So W is given by P into 10 to the power of 5. That is, since in the steam table the unit of pressure is bar, therefore we're going to write it as 10 into 10 to the power of 5 into Vg minus Vf. So it's pressure into change in volume. So P into 10 to the power of 5 for what? To convert bar into kilojoules, it's for joules, into Vg minus Vf. We're going to neglect Vf. Therefore, the formula for external work done for evaporization is 100 PVg into kilojoules. So I told you it's 10 to the power of 5. Then the unit will be Newton for the Pascal for the pressure. 10 to the power of 5 Pascal. Okay. If I want to convert this, if I want kilopascal, then I can write 100 kilopascal. Am I right? I can write in this way, right? Instead of writing 10 to the power of 5 Pascal, I can write 100 kilopascal. So that is what I have taken 100. We know that unit of work done is kilojoules. So to keep the work done in kilojoules, since kilojoules, so the unit of heat enthalpy, even that is kilojoules per kg. So to keep everything in kilojoules, we are multiplying that by 100. 100 into P into Vg is the formula for external work of evaporization. So if the steam is wet, then we need to add dryness fraction for that particular formula. Then the formula will be 100 P into X into Vg, where X indicates the dryness fraction. So this formula holds good for dry steam. 100 into P into Vg. And for superheated steam, we'll write the formula as 100 into P into V superheated. So these are the three formulas that you have to remember. One is for the wet steam, it is 100 into P into X into Vg. For the dry steam, it is 100 into P into Vg. And for the superheated steam, it is 100 into P into V superheated. So these are the mathematical expression for the external work done. So let us see the numerical examples on the external work done. So in this particular example, let us read the question once so that we can understand the problem. Find the external work done during evaporization per kg of steam. So what they are given? They are given for the per kg of steam. That means mass will be 1 kg. That is the thing that what they have given. So mass will be 1 kg at a pressure of 15 bar. So pressure will be 15 bar. When they are given again two conditions. When the steam is 90% dry, and second is dry saturated. So dry saturated means when X will be 1. So this is the two condition what they have given. So when X is 0.9, for the first thing, when X is 0.9, we need to find out the work done during evaporization, and when X is 1, even that particular time we need to find out the work done. What are the values of work done? So what is the value of work done that will be obtained when X equal to 0.9 and when X equal to 1? That we need to find out in this particular problem. For that, first let us write down the given data. So what they have given? They have given the pressure as 15 bar. We'll make a note of that. And from steam table. So I'm hoping that already how to see the steam table. Hoping that I have not pasted the steam table on this for this particular slide. Okay. So from steam table, for pressure 15 bar, the Vg value is 0.1317 meter cube per kg. Okay. So what they have given? They have given the condition as wet steam. So what is the formula for wet steam? We have W will be equal to 100 P into X into Vg. Let us be a Vg. So it's 100 into P into X into Vg. So it's 100. They are given it as a 15 bar. So I'll write as it is 15. It's 15.9 for dryness fraction, and the value of Vg is 0.1317. Since they have asked to find out just the external work done, there is no necessity for us to find out the value of HF, HFG and HG from the steam table. Okay, so since we are concentrating only on the work done, external work done, for the external work done, we need only the pressure and the volume. So you should remember that we need only pressure as well as the volume. So already they have given the pressure as 15 bar. So the next thing for me to find out is we need to find out the specific volume. So we need to concentrate only on the specific volume. So for that particular reason, since they have mentioned as 90% dry, the value of X will be 0.9. Therefore, the work done for wet steam is given by 100 into P into X into Vg. Substitute these values in the equation. How much? 100 into 15. Pressure is 15. X is 0.9. Vg is 0.1317. If you multiply all these values, you will get this answer. So since they have asked to find out per kg, the unit will be kilojoules per kg. So 177.8 kilojoules per kg. That is the answer. So the second condition what they have asked to find out for dry saturated steam. So the work done for the dry saturated steam is given by 100 into PV. So 100 into 15 into 0.1317, that is equal to 197.5 kilojoules per kg. So it's a very simple and easiest problem what I have solved it. So this type of question may be asked for 5 marks. So in the examination, they are going to ask this type of question for 5 marks. So in the previous session, I solved 2 problems. That problems maybe they will give that problem for 10 marks. But since this problem is very easy and we can solve directly, this problem will be asked for 5. So let us move on to the next property of steam, that is the internal energy of steam, which is denoted by U. So again, internal energy is not a new word for you people. So in simple words, how can I define an internal energy? The stored energy of a system can be defined as the internal energy. The energy which is stored inside the system can be defined as the internal energy, or stored energy is called as the internal energy. So from first law of thermodynamics, we can say that U equals Q minus W. So the change in internal energy is equal to change in heat transfer minus change in work done, or it's not change in work done, it's work done. So according to first law of thermodynamics, change in internal energy is equal to change in heat transfer minus the work done. Okay, so the same thing we're going to apply in this. The quantity of heat is expressed as what? The enthalpy. How we have expressed? We have expressed the heat as the enthalpy and the work as the external work of evaporization. Therefore, U can be defined as, that is the internal energy can be defined as the difference between enthalpy and external work done. The difference between the enthalpy and external work done can be termed as the internal energy of steam. Therefore, for wet steam, it is enthalpy minus work done. What is the enthalpy? So this is the enthalpy value for the wet steam. That is HF plus X into HFG. Okay. Then what is the work done for this wet steam? It is 100 into P into X into Vg. So the difference of these two will give me the answer for the internal energy. Okay. So similarly, for the dry steam, the change in internal energy, or the internal energy of the steam, is given by HF plus HFG. We can put the bracket here so that we can distinguish. It's the enthalpy of dry steam, and this is the enthalpy. This is the work done for the dry steam. It is HF plus HFG minus 100 into P into Vg. Or in simple words, I can write as Hg minus 100 P into Vg. Similarly, for superheated steam, I can write it as, this whole terms indicates for the enthalpy of superheated steam minus 100 into P into V superheated. So these are the formulas that you have to remember to solve the problem on internal energy. So let us take the example. In this particular problem, let us read the problem once. Calculate the internal energy of 1 kg of steam at a pressure of 10 bar when the steam is 0.9 dry. Second one is dry saturated. The volume of water may be neglected. For this particular condition, let us find the internal energy for 1 kg of the steam. For 10 bar pressure, I'll make a note. So for this, the saturation temperature is not required. So I'll be taking only the enthalpy values. So make a note of the enthalpy values. And what they have told, the volume of water may be neglected. That Vf will be neglected. Vf will be 0. That is the meaning of this. So we'll take the value of Vg also. It's 0.194. You take, as usual, first write down the given data. What they have given. They have given P as 10 bar. Next, You write it as from steam table for pressure 10 bar. You make a note of all the values that you have taken from the steam table. You take down HF, HFG and VG. And then for the first condition, that is the internal energy of 1 kg of steam, that is when it is 0.9 dry. That is when X equals 0.9. If we have X is there, then the condition of the steam is what? It's a wet steam. Then I'll write the formula of internal energy for wet steam. So what is the formula? U equals HF plus X into HFG minus 100 P into X into VG. Okay. So it's better for easy way of calculating this. You put the bracket so that there will be no confusion in the readings. So first you take the value of HF, its X value of X and value of HFG. Okay. Then again if I come here, it is 100. The value of P is 10 bar. I'll write it as 10. Value of X as 0.9 and VG as 0.1943. So first you multiply these two terms, that is 0.9 into 2013.6. So you'll get some answer. Let it be X. So you add that value with this. So you'll get some answer. What is the answer you'll get it? You'll get it as 2574.8. So you multiply this 100 into 10 into 0.9 into 0.1943. So how much you'll get it? You'll get it as 174.8. So the internal energy, if you subtract this two, you'll get the final answer as 2400 kilojoules per. You can write it as kg also because they have mentioned it as per kg. So the answer is 2400 kilojoules per kg of internal energy is required. So the second condition is what? When the steam is a dry saturated steam. For this particular condition, we need to find out the internal energy. For dry saturated steam, we know that U equals HF plus X into HFG minus 100 into P into VG. It's not, X is not there, sorry. It's a dry saturated steam, it is HF plus HFG minus 100 into P into VG. So you substitute the value again. You make a separate bracket so that it will be easier for you to calculate. So you add this both the terms and this terms, and the answer will get it as 2581.9 kilojoules per kg. This will be the answer. You please try these problems in the notes so that it will be, if you practice once, you will come to know where you are going wrong. So it will be easier for you to use the calculator also. So in this today's topic, we tried to cover the numerical examples on specific volume. Secondly, we studied the definition of work done of evaporization and the numerical examples on it. And thirdly, we concentrated on the internal energy and the mathematical substitution for the different types of wet steam. That is for the internal energy for the wet steam, dry steam, and for the superheated steam. And in the last, we solved a very simple example, a very easy problem to find out the internal energy. So these were the content that we covered in today's session. That's all for today. Thank you for listening for the session 4. Thank you everyone.